Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle. I am Daniel Atai. And straight to the point that President Muhammadu Buhari appoints new Chief of Staff to replace late Abba Kyari. And also we shall briefly look into that while we check in his ambassadorial nominees. So stay tuned to TVN as we shall be back shortly, and I will introduce to you the political economists in the studio that will be analyzing this topic with me. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.
Committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast.
Straight to the point, President Muhammadu Buhari has named a new Chief of Staff in the person of Professor Ibrahim Gambari, who comes from the southwestern Kwara State. The official announcement confirmed reports today that the former diplomat was in line to succeed Abba Kyari, who succumbed to COVID-19 in April. The announcement was made by Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, at the first virtual Federal Executive Council meeting held today at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, as various ministers join in the FEC. The new Chief of Staff has had diplomatic distinguished career. He was Minister of External Affairs in 1984 to 1985 and subsequently Ambassador / Permanent Representative of Nigeria to the United Nations in 1990 to 1999. Professor Gambari also served as Joint AU/UN Special Representative in Darfur and head of UNIMAID in 2010 to 2012. He is currently a chairperson of the panel of eminent persons of the African Peer Review Mechanism, APRM. Professor Gambari attended the provincial, now government secondary school Ilorin before proceeding to the forecast college known as King's College, Lagos. He received his BSc in Economics degree from the London School of Economics in 1968 and his MA and PhD in Political Science / International Relations in 1970 and to 1974 from Columbia University in the United States of America. He has taught at universities in the United States, Nigeria, Singapore, and much more. And he has to his credit the authorship of a number of books. He has received several academic and national honors, including the Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, CFR, and the Order of the Champion of the Oliver R. Tambo Orchid of South Africa. He is the pioneer chancellor of the Kwara State University, Kwasu, in Ilorin, Nigeria, as well as the current pro-chancellor and chairman of the governing council of Bayero University, Kano. He is married with children and grandchildren. We'll stop there about the new chief of staff before we look into the presidential ambassadorial nominee. What kind of pedigree of the new chief of staff, Ibrahim Gambari? You have anything to say about his replacing Abakari?
Well, I would say Nigerians are very happy. Right. It is a welcome development. Here is a man with very towering resume. Even in fact, every facet of the media is home and dry with his personality. He's a man of moral rectitude. He's a man of dignity, value. One of the best materials this country have ever produced.
Okay.
He's a world-renowned diplomat, and he has done so well in every aspect of his service. Today, God, out of his infinite mercy, have given him the grace to serve, especially within this critical situation of our dear country. And I have taken time to listen across board, even the people's journalists. You know, when you come to journalism, we have the people's journalists. And when you take time to study their commentaries, you realize that everybody have come to agree that this man is the right person. And we are believing that there should be a very good understanding, when it comes to governance from this moment.
Exactly.
We need a chief of staff that has a robust understanding of administration, leadership. And one good thing about Professor Gambari, to the best of my knowledge, he is a man that understands leadership. And over the years, he has been on the quiet side. He's not a politician. He doesn't play politics. He's not known to be a politician. He is not a desperate politician or whatever. So I think this is service to humanity.
That's good.
It is service to the Nigerian people. Nigerian people are clamoring for leadership.
Exactly.
We need a chief of staff that will amplify the activity of the president and the executive. And here we are blessed with one. So, and I must use this opportunity to say congratulations, Prof. Nigerians are longing to see a very wonderful service from your good office.
That's good.
And we believe that you will strengthen the tie between the executive and the judiciary and as well as the legislature. That is all I can say for now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okafor. I think that was a wonderful one. Congratulations, Prof. Professor Gambari Ibrahim, as you assume office as our prestigious Chief of Staff to our distinguished President Muhammadu Buhari. From TVN, we say welcome on board. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to confirm 42 nominees as career ambassadors designates. Buhari's request was contained in letter dated May 6th and read by Senate President Ahmed Lawan on the floor of the upper legislative chamber on Tuesday. He premised his request on Section 171 of the Constitution. Mr. President said, in accordance to Section 171, subsection 2 IC and subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I have the honor to forward for confirmation to the Senate the underlisted 42 names of nominees for career ambassadors designate. Copies of their resumes are attached herewith. Thus, you can check the list as it is displayed on the screen, the list of your new ambassadorial nominees that subsequently or in any moment from now, we'll assume office and we'll have full detail of their pictorial views. These are from 1 down to 42. You have, according to federal character, this nomination was done across the country. I don't know whether the gentleman in the studio have another adverse reaction to it, but you can still check, cross-check all the nominees according to their states where they came from and how they were selected. While it's going on, I wanted to react quickly. Is there any state that is subchanged in this nomination?
Yeah, I did not see Imo State there. I don't know if I'm correct. Okay, I've seen Imo State.
Imo State is there.
Okay, let me not go into that now. What is important is that these people are illustrious sons and daughters of our country, and I want to say that the National Assembly at this juncture need to do a very careful job. Nigerians are expecting them to do due diligence on these people. As a matter of fact, many of these persons, these ambassadorial nominees, are not well known. They are not loud. Yes. Many of them are not known to the citizenry. So there is need for
even the one for Benue, GM Okoko. I don't seem to even know.
So many of them. Even the one for so many of the state. You know, they are not very loud people. Nigerians don't know much about them. So I think it is very important. It is incumbent on the National Assembly to do due diligence on them. You see, especially now, because ambassadors by standard are the president representatives in any country of assignment. So they are to do a lot of job. They represent the image of this country. So we must be very careful on playing sentiment in an issue like this. Okay. So we are urging National Assembly to ensure that everything is duly followed. Okay. So that there will be no costly mistake. Don't forget, when somebody is given such an opportunity, you are the head of the mission, what we call embassy. You are head of the embassy, and as such, a lot is expected of you. And I am of opinion that National Assembly, especially the Senate, should ensure that these people are well screened.
Not like the other time that some of them could not even sing the national anthem.
They should be adequately screened. The reasons are very simple. We need well-experienced players. We need professionals. We need people that are endowed with core leadership.
Just the way President appointed Gambari. So.
Yes, no professional. He's an outstanding Nigerian. Okay. So you can't take it away from him. Yeah. He's a square peg in a square hole.
That's correct.
So we are happy. We are home and dry with that. Okay. But for these ambassadors, yes, we need people that have fighting spirit. People that can market this country in the outside world.
Yes.
We need people that are blessed with innovation, creativity,
just like
full of ideas. Yes. So we need people that can champion that cause. It is not for everybody. You see, one of the biggest problems we face at in this part of the world is thinking that giving people opportunity to play a role in a particular leadership circle. Most people see it as a settlement. Most people see it as people's entitlement. We must look for the best. As such, now we need people that can market our country. We need well-experienced people in this seat. We need people that can attract investment to this country. We need people that will, continue to strengthen our bilateral relationships with nations that we have business with. Yes. We need people that can expand the coast. There are so many lying MOUs in this country. We need ambassadors that can activate them. Okay. So many of these things are very important. We, as a nation, if you must permit me, let me tell us, as a nation, it is the worst period anybody can think of. And it's just like that virtually every nation of the world because of this COVID-19.
And how are they going to represent now? How are they going to be sent abroad to represent, or probably because we kind of suspect that the COVID-19 pandemic saga, the propaganda will get a little bit lesser in the long run, or what? Because if they are home office, they need to be dispatched to various nations, and even the aviation industry is still not working.
Yeah, but we strongly believe that it's a matter of time. We are positive minded that very soon some of these things will ease out. Certainly, it is a gradual thing. And what it simply shows is that government is trying to position herself. Because that is why when you hear that the world is a global village, what happened in China in December was able to thaw the whole world within a period of 2-3 months, and it has ravaged a lot of nations. So government must go into business. We cannot continue to live in this situation. So we need to ensure that we are well positioned. And as time goes on, we believe systematically everything will continue to come back to normalcy, just like what is happening in America and so many other nations. So we need to position very well. But the point is that we need people that will be ready to hit the ground running, because there is no time. They should consider that in this part of the world, our level of unemployment has risen to 33.5%. So it's a problem. We're in a total mess. They should also realize that lately we encountered a lot of oil gluts. We have a lot of crude oil packed in the high sea. Nobody to buy, So now, over the years, we've listened to so many issues of diversification of economy. It became a government seminar. Some people saw it as an avenue to extort some money from government. We listened to theoretical aspect of this. Up till now, nothing has been done. From 1999 to 2020, nothing in that regard has been realized. So we need ambassadors that can go in and market this country. We need ambassadors that can look at our comparative advantage, and begin to mirror in those kind of investment that is suitable to our country. Let me tell us, nations of the world, countries like Japan are pulling out their investment from China. So many nations are considering Bangladesh. Some are considering Pakistan. Some are considering India. Do you know that if we had infrastructure in Nigeria, Nigeria would have become one of the best economic destinations of the world? And we are just victim of squadronial. We are just victim of planlessness. So when we claim we want to do diversification, we've talked about diversification in agriculture, yet to no avail. Nothing has been done. And had it been this government, previous government, we are able to do the needful in terms of the infrastructural decay we have in this country. My brother, let me tell you, in less than 3 years, our President Muhammad Buhari, will be done with his 80 years tenure as a president in this country. And let me use this opportunity to say this. Mr. President, the only thing you can do for this country is to give us 24 hours electricity. 24 hours electricity will settle industrial revolution matter in Nigeria.
So that this COVID-19 economic meltdown...
If we had such kind of platform in this country, so many companies in China would have shifted their industrial desk to Nigeria. So many nations, even Turkey is good. You know this item, Turkey will be one of the most powerful nations in the world. So countries are looking at a lot of, in this part of the world, we have the enable environment.
Yes.
We have the manpower. We have the talent.
Yes.
But just that we have problem with our governance system. So what I'm saying in essence is that, Mr. President...
And we have the calibers, the cadres, the
yes,
pedigree.
We have the best.
Look at
we have
the
best
selection
anybody
of
can
Mr. President.
We have the best anybody can think of. Mr. President, this generation and generation yet unborn, we never forget you as our president. Your name will be written in the chronicle of time as the best president that we ever had in this country. If you can consider, if you can declare emergency on electricity in this part of the world, renewable energy is a way to go.
Yes.
Let us begin to walk our talk. So many promises have been made. I have done a very good study. I realized that if 24 hours electricity is realized in this country, it would have sorted out 75% of our problems. Because even security issues would have been sorted out. Tourism sector would receive so much energy. Health sector would have improved to a certain level. We are aware that a few weeks ago we lost an illustrious son of this country in Lagos because of power problem. The person was in the hospital, was in the theater for surgery. All of a sudden, there was epileptic power system. Only for them to now say, okay, let us go and on the generator in the hospital. They went there, they couldn't succeed in on the generator. And all of carelessly, we lost. So this matter is because the person is a high-profile Nigerian, but it is a tradition. It is something that has been happening in this country. I want to let you know that with 24 hours electricity, Mr. President, we can actualize agricultural value chain. This sector can give. In 2014, Mr. President made a promise to Nigerians that if he emerges as a president, that he intends to create just 3 million every year. And this sector, agriculture, would have given us a very good platform. So what I'm saying in essence is that if government can give us very good listening ear at this juncture, because we are not just here to criticize government, we are here to provide solutions.
Yeah, the present chief of staff now, having studied his pedigrees, his educational background and experience, technocrat, diplomat, and so on, I believe he should be able to help the president, to navigate apart from the cabinet of the Mr. President, to navigate. Mr. President is one person that relies mostly on his chief of staff. Like he said during Abakari, if you want to see me, please see my chief of staff. You understand? And I believe that trend will still continue. Don't you think it is the reason why this personality in the person of Gambari was chosen? To help navigate those things you are proffering to the country now.
The truth of the matter is...
And the selection, if you look at the selection, even you look at the nominations of the Ambassadorial Nominees, you discover that it's like the man is actually after competency. But like you used to say, some system or systematic loopholes always frustrate his effort. If you could look aside politics and choose a technocrat, a professor of that cadre to be your chief of staff, and then begin to nominate these ambassadors, some of them have gone through their profiles, but they are not well known, but they are disciplines in most of their areas. Don't you think that what we are clamoring for now, positive change or changes might just be at the corner?
The truth of the matter is not, our problem is not on the profile of the chief of staff.
Okay.
This man has a very towering profile. And he is an asset to this government.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, he is an asset. He's a material. The man must be utilized in this government.
Must be utilized.
Yes, he must be utilized. Because this man has the vast brain knowledge of how this country can be governed better. And as such, the problem we have is government of President Muhammadu Buhari giving this man every opportunity to deliver within the purview of his office.
Not like when the SGF will say Abakari is overstepping his boundary, things like that, so there should be no tussles.
No. But Professor Gambari is not that kind of person. Okay. You know, some persons are power drunk. This man is a technocrat. This man is not a politician. He does not have insatiable loss for whatever.
Right.
He is there to render services to this country. But always remember, the academic record is an intimidation of itself.
Yes.
But everything is predicated on what this government want to achieve. If you listen to that man, he will proffer solutions. Let me tell us, in this same country, we've had Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as Minister of Finance.
Yes.
And the head of the economy.
Yes.
And
under Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes, under Goodluck Jonathan. I could remember vividly. Each time Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala tell people of this country that there is need for us to save. There is need to diversification of economy. Even some governors, so many of them are now in APC. Today, I just want to maintain gentility.
Yes.
Let us just reason.
Yes.
So let's have this conversation across. So many of them are now in APC. The truth of the matter is, what were they able to do with those advice from such kind of this? The woman is a global image. She saw it coming. She knows in economics, these things, this very particular thing must be respected. And she advised, let us be prudent in our expenditures. Some governors, their own is just bring it, we need it immediately. Because we are a federating unit. We need our money. Because our tenure will finish in the next 4 years. We are not ready to keep anything for anybody.
I'm telling you.
This money was squandered. When this woman
and
was,
the lacuna is still there today.
When the woman was crying for diversification of economy, a lot of people will just, so many governors will gather in a hall, they will listen to her speech, they will clap for her, put it into practice. It became a problem. Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, you contested to be president in this country on three consecutive times as a civilian president. God, out of his infinite mercy, gave you the grace to be our president. Mr. President, we need 24 hours electricity. All we need is renewable energy.
All right.
We need employment. This thing is no longer, it is a problem before every one of us. There is a problem because people no longer sleep. People no longer go to bed easily because you are afraid of what can happen to you because you are not secure, you are not safe. It is a problem. There is high level of stark naked wretchedness. There is poverty, and the only thing that can cushion this very particular matter is 24 hours electricity. We need to invite the best. We know that so many investors are ready to do wonders. We can do a lot through renewable energy.
I think what you just said now, before we go into the next letter that Mr. President submitted, will help to cushion the effect of this economic meltdown due to COVID-19. That is why you are proffering the electricity, 24 hours electricity. I will come back to you. In another letter dated April 28 to the President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, the Mr. President requested for the confirmation of Professor Jumai Audi as chairman of the Nigerian Law Reform Commission. Also for confirmation are Honorable Ebele Bernard Chima, Commissioner Southeast, while Basi Dan Abia, Commissioner South-South, and Honorable Mohammed Ibrahim, Commissioner Southwest. The letter from the President requesting the confirmation of the nominees read in part in compliance with the provision of Section 2, Subsection 2 of the Nigerian Law Reform Commission Act number 7 of 1999, I wrote to forward to the Senate for confirmation the underlisted 4 names of nominees as chairman and full-time members of the Nigerian Law Reform Commission, he said. Another request letter dated May 4th from President Muhammadu Buhari for the confirmation of Diana Okonta as commissioner from Southside and Ian Talib Yaro from Northeast as non-executive directors of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, was also read by the Senate President at the plenary on Tuesday. According to President Buhari, the appointment of the nominees was done in compliance with the provision of Section 5, Subsection 2 and 4 of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act to fill existing vacancies. The Senate leader, Yahya Abdullahi, thereafter moved a motion relying on Order 1, Section B of the Senate Standing Rules for the upper chamber to expedite action on the President's request for the confirmation of the nominees. The Senate President, in his ruling, underscored the need for the upper chamber to fast-track the process to enable committees to screen the nominees. Senator Lawan thereafter referred the confirmation request of the NDIC nominees to the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Financial Institutions headed by Senator Uba Sani. He also referred the list of career ambassadors to the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs headed by Senator Muhammad Bukachua, while the nominees for Law Reform Commission will be considered by the Senate Committee on Judiciary, headed by Senator PMB Bamidele. Lawan gave the three committees 2 weeks to screen all the nominees and report back to the Senate plenary. You see, aside ambassadorial committees, you have committees for the various regions and the NDIC in order to make sure that our economy drives and facilitates speedily. So Mr. President is thinking your direction. Isn't that true?
Let me, for sure,
it's like Mr. President is an economist.
No, look, Mr. President
yes.
have a very good intention for this country, for sure.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is that there is need for political will. There is need for self-restraint.
And if all of us could be like that,
yes, so that this thing can be enforced.
Okay.
My brother, whether we like it or not, there is no president that can do much in this system so long as our constitution is not properly amended. Like, now we're talking about government giving emergency intervention and attention on electricity in this part of the world. My brother, let me tell us, there is need for that. But government must, all hands must be on deck in order to actualize that. The executives need to marry the judiciary. They need to marry the legislature. We need to rejig our industrial policy in this country. You understand what I mean? Yeah. We need to rejig our industrial policy.
That's why
a lot of things need to be done. There is need for some vital constitutional amendment. Even in our criminal justice system, there is need for a lot need to be rejigged. And that is more reason why Nigerians are saying this government should have a very good understanding with legislatures so that we can have accelerated understanding in some of these things.
I think
let it be practically done. It shouldn't take a century.
Okay.
Now, there is a silver line between the poor and the rich. The system has become so obvious. Okay. My brother, let me tell us, part of the biggest problem we have in this part of the world is that there is so much cash in the hand of individuals. And unfortunately, the system we run, people believe their own is to come to Abuja and collect their allocation.
That is on the side of the governors.
On the side of the governors.
Who have refused, wantonly refused to pay salaries, gratuities, pension, and even severances.
It is a very big challenge. Now, had it been the political class are assisting in one way or the other in job creation, do you know what it will look like if every senator or House of Rep member or any House of Assembly member had a little cottage industry? Just one cottage industry, just no matter how small, that can employ 150 persons. it will go a long way. The biggest problem we have is that people pocket this thing in their pocket. The economy is not productive. Because how can somebody just put 10 billion naira somewhere and it's not yielding anything?
You are talking like an economist now.
No, that is the thing. Do you know?
Which,
now,
which you are.
Let me tell you.
Can we streamline the discussion on these nominees and the governance to proceed after now? Because you have hinted and you've directed, you have also proffered solutions for the activities of the ambassadorial nominees and the new chief of staff. Now, in the next 1 year, do you think from what we have just been heated from COVID-19 pandemic saga, can we revive, since the president has seems to set the ball on the rolling of governance? Because if we were in lockdown like we were, I don't think that Mr. President will have this call is not, we're not picking calls today, we're just discussing in the studio, so hold on. If the pandemic has not hit us this way, by now we know where we would have been from the achievement and policies so far. Now he has set the ball rolling again, despite the propaganda and the saga of COVID-19. What prospect do we have in the next 1 year with these nominees and the chief of staff that we just got? A lot were blamed in the former.
Yeah, I am inundated by people's complaint in the leadership circle in this our country. The part of the challenge we have as a nation is some maladjustable individuals who have held this country hostage. These people are the major reason why nothing is working. 2019, there was election in this country. So many promises were given to us, and those campaign promises are still there. It is there in black and white. Nigerians are aware. And today we are faced with COVID-19. Nothing is working. And we strongly believe that before we can get out of what is happening in the system as it is, it will get up to 2021.
Okay.
It is a very big challenging period.
Okay.
That is the truth. And the worst set of heat in this very particular matter is what the people in the informal sector are facing.
Okay.
Don't forget, the people in the informal sector don't have too much capital. With their little money, they come out on daily basis. They do their business, they go home with little profit.
All right.
And now for a very long time, they have lost their daily pay. They have also encroached into their capital.
Okay.
So government as it is faced with a very serious embarrassment because the citizens can't even do a lot in igniting the economy. The economy is 100% grounded. Okay. And for you now to start this economy,
we received part of Abacha's load from the United States the other time. I think it will help.
Yes, we received
$311
million.
Yes.
Now the problem we have is that,
and more is still coming.
The problem we have is that most of this Abacha's loot, I think General Abacha, may he so rest in perfect peace. even in the grave, he is still releasing money.
Yes, to us.
He releasing money to us.
Yes.
You understand? As if to say he knows that there will be COVID-19. Yes. So the man is still releasing money.
Yes.
And this fabulous amount of money have been mismanaged over the years. My brother, what does it take to utilize this Abacha's loot into flagship government projects? Does it take a century to say, okay, from Abacha's loot, we want to...
Mr. President, for the nominees and then the chief of staff?
I think the truth is that we must adjust to live with COVID-19 for now.
Okay.
There is need for government to allow the citizens to have their liberty. People should go back to work, because it will be more damaging if you continue to compel people to be under serious confinement.
Exactly.
There is no fund, there is no government is not giving any palliative. People are not getting this money, and we don't have a healthy atmosphere that can shelter people. Yes, but I want to say that government need to follow all the necessary laid down rules. Yes, we know it is not easy for them now because a lot is happening in the system. And I must say, Mr. President, whatever that is going on in the case of COVID-19, I know in due time there will be a reconciliation between NCDC and EFCC. In due time, there will be reconciliation. because that one is another pipe. So some people are coasting home happily, whereas most Nigerians cannot even afford one square meal.
I will bring you again, Comrade Okafor Obinna, a political economist, to this program, so that we will discuss separately. One of the topics I want to bring you on is the achievement so far of Mr. President since 2015, when he was elected, to date, and then the other, this NCDC versus EFCC saga with the propaganda of COVID-19. I think this is where spectacle will stop today on Television Nigerian. Do endeavor to follow us on our social media platforms. On Twitter, just search at TV Nigerian, and on Facebook, Television Nigerian. Instagram, we're there. YouTube, yes, our YouTube packages. We have a lot of information for you to watch on our YouTube channels. Just Google Television Nigerian on your YouTube search box. You can always follow us again on our website, live program there, www.tvn.news. We have live programs from any part of the world that you are watching us from. You can stream us live via tvn.news. Thanks for watching. This is where we'll stop today. I have been Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.